Hello guys, thank you Rob for introducing me. Today we will talk about Waypoint. As you said, it's a new project for HashiCorp, and it's a very powerful tool for developers. Let's start. And My name is Abderrahim Soubai-Elidrisi. I'm from Morocco. I work as a software cloud guy at Optimize. Work mainly in telecommunication and payment services, and I'm very interested in cloud and distributed system. And Today talks is about your point to Waypoint. It's I'm not here actually to teach you something, but I'm very fascinated by how Waypoint is easy and powerful, and I'm trying to show you that. So let's begin. Every application has a lot of phases or life cycles, and it starts like a line of code in your favorite code editor or IDE. Um, it's mainly now we know that Visual Studio Code is de facto standard of this, and everyone is using it. Uh, After that, you should write some tests using your favorite frameworks or tool. We are using Selenium as as a de facto standard tool for this one. After that, we should build our application to generate some artifacts. Those artifacts will be deployed and released somewhere, and will be operated by Nomad or Kubernetes or something like this. As you can see, we have three green circles. I mean here by green, like we are mastering this phases, and there is tools that there are standards for this, but for build, deploy, and release, we are hacking around to make those phases uh, automatic and reliable if it's true. So our bottleneck is these three phases: build, deploy, and release. uh, why? Because there's a lack of standards. Everyone is doing his stuff by his own. We have a lot of, for example, we have a lot of artifacts to generate, depending on the platform that we want to deploy to. For example, if you want to deploy um, to a Kubernetes, you need something like container to do that. If you want to deploy to some serverless platform like AWS Lambda or something like this, you need to write code in certain format, and and build for some specific target to do that, and those also. So there is a lot of platform that make it hard for the developer to easily choose one tool to do all the stuff. And we generally create our bash scripting for that. Generally we use hacking around, like putting our scripts in some pipelines in CI/CD or something like this. So and for release it's the same. For releasing here is like more traffic management. For example, if you want to do something like canary deployment or blue green or stuff like this, it's hard to do it like with tool that we have now. So here it's come a bunch. It's give us a very easy to use and consistent workflow. So we will mainly create one file, one single file, one repo for our project that will englobe these three phases: build, deploy, and release. And of course we can deploy and release to multiple platform with single file. It's give us the confidence. Every developer that's deployed to some platform, it needs some visuals, logs, an URL for testing his release or his deployment version or something like this. So Waypoint give us this visual very easy, and is give us tools to check logs and go check our deployment in real time. um, the other stuff, it's very extensible, so everything in Waypoint is extensible. Platforms, builds, deploys, you just use built-in plugin by the team, or you create your own plugins and you deploy to your favorite platform, or build with your favorite artifacts tool. Okay, the global architecture for Waypoints is something like this. We have CLI and the UI platform. It's like a pass experience. Pass is stands for platform as a service, and this pass or this platform is give us all stuff that CLI give us too. So you have the choice to use the CLI, the command line interface, or you use the the platform. So this is the client of our architecture, and we need a server somewhere to serve the Waypoint APIs. So think about it like some a control plan for a server mesh and data plan. The control plan is the mind of our system, or the brain of our system, and it's communicate with the data plan. The data plan is the deployment, or the VMs, or the stuff that we are deployed on our own. And as you see here, we have something like entry point. Think about it like a sidecar injection here for like a service mesh. For example, if you are familiar with Linkerd or ASTO, it's the same thing. And this entry point is injected directly by the build phase, and it's built in by the Waypoint team, and use us and helps us to provide logs, to provide an URL, and to communicate between the server and our deployment on our favorite platform. There is a missing point here. It's not missing, but it's like a hidden part here is a runner. The CLI is scheduling a build, for example, or deployment, and the runner is doing the job. The runner mainly is, you can think about it like runner in CI/CD platform, for example. It does all the job. It can be a local runner, so in your local machine or something like this, or it can be a remote one. Same thing for the server. It can be for in your local machine or remotely. And of course, a single server can, or a single CLI can talk to multiple server. For example, if you have a server for production, server for the staging, something like this, same CLI can talk to all these servers. Okay. Okay, let's move to configuration. The configuration is pretty easy and pretty standard. Like we used to have the HashiCorp language. It's like an easy file with three phases here, or three block of codes. Every block of code is represent a phase of our application lifecycle. For example, here we have built, we are just using built-in plugins called pack to build the application, and it will generate an image. This image, it will be pushed to a registry, a public registry here in Docker Hub, and after that I will deploy this image in Kubernetes. So I will just use again plugin, and with some parameters, and I will release in Kubernetes. Of course, I can I can deploy and release in different platform as I want. We'll see that. So the power of this file or the Waypoint is give us a one single file that's englobe all this stuff, all our workflow. It will be a code, and we can manage it in our version code. For example, it's give us the end-to-end experience from the build to the release. Okay, the build and deploy, it's pretty easy as we used to use our HashiCorp products. We just up stuff. So I want Waypoint up my configuration file, and the magic is there, and I will just wait for 5 minutes or less, depending on your build and deployment tool, and you will get some visuals and errors to check your code and logs and stuff like this. And of course, you can use the CLI or Waypoint app, or you can integrate Waypoint to your favorite Git operation. For example, you can integrate it to GitHub Actions or stuff like this. So it's easily integrable into a CI/CD pipeline. Okay, let's move now to the GUI part. The UI part is like the client or our visual, and your team can go to one place to for example, check all the builds, check all the deployment that you did, the versions of the deployment too. We will see that in the example. And Waypoint give us a very cool stuff like real-time monitoring. For example, we can get status of the application in real time, and we can get the versions like you can see here, the version and the time that the version of deployment and the time of deployment and the statue. Of course, the platform here is Docker, and we can see all the deployments and logs in one single place. Okay, I will show you a demo. You can find the slides in my GitHub, so you can just clone the project and play with it. It's pretty easy. Okay, and here we go. I have two folders here at Docker and Kubernetes. Let's start with Docker one. Let's have nothing special, just an HTML file here. Docker is running, and a Docker file. It's an Nginx-based image with some simple configuration in here. Like you can see, it's just like when you deploy your React application or something like this. And we have a Waypoint file. Waypoint configuration file here. It's have the project name, and it's have the application. The application here is named web. Hope you can see. I guess now it will be better. We have our application, and we have the first block. It represents the build phase, and second block it represents the deploy block. Both of them use Docker as a plugin. So I will just do something like you can let's take a look at CLI first. You can install it in your machine, and you will get something like this, a command line interface, login, build, stuff like this. Other commands, you can, for example, get context. Like, for example, if I context list, we get the context. Context is like the the server that the CLI will talk to. For now, it just talk to my local server deployed on Docker. And to install a server, you can install it on Kubernetes, on Nomad, on Docker, on any platform you want, and the CLI will help you. You just need to do something like Waypoint install. You specify the platform and accept the tools, and everything will be deployed for you. And now let's, for example, go to the Docker project. First thing I need to do is to initiate the Waypoint. So I tell Waypoint to consider this as a project. So I just do something like init, and it will read the file and validate it. For example, if there is some issues in the file, it will pop it out in here and tell me there is something wrong. If not, it will just do something like this. And I will just need to do something like Waypoint up, and it will start the build phase. For example, here you can see logs of building an image here using Docker, and it will deploy it to a container, or in this phase it will deploy it to Docker. So as you can see here, it's give us the logs, and as we don't have a release, it will not give us a release phase for this, but we can specify it. For example, we just need to do something like and as we are waiting, I will just start a Kubernetes cluster using Minikube. Let's check if we have something here. Yes, we have something already there. Let's watch for deployment. Okay, as you can see here, I can just do something like Docker PS, and I can see here my application up and running, and I can test it locally and stuff like this. We will do something like more exciting when we go to see the UI. The UI is something like this. The project is the same thing that I have in here. We okay, it's web. Okay, I guess I have some issue somewhere, but no worries. It just give us a very beautiful visual, and I think we can see this with all of project. So and go to Kubernetes. Sorry. Go to Kubernetes 1 and just init. Let's check in here. Yes, it's a little bit slow, but it's here. We can see all the deployment I did with the logs in here, releases to the platform, and I guess there is some issues. Yeah, yeah, there is the logs in here, and we have the phases that we have in the GitHub file, in the configuration file. And if I go there and I try to init the other projects, let's see the configuration file first. It's nothing, just a very simple Go application that will show us hello waypoint, and the configuration file is pretty easy too. It's something like, I just need to remove this, and it's something like build using pack, so, and push to the hello Go image and use Kubernetes to save the application. I will just save it and waypoint up for this. As you can see here, it's using pack to build the application, to build the Go application, and pack it as an image. And I guess I need to minikube channel. Okay, it's pushing now the image to a Docker Hub. After that, the deployment phase. It's automatically detect the ports in my application. Now it's creating the deployment on my Kubernetes. I guess I have something. Okay. I have some timed out stuff. But I guess if we just kubectl git deploy, we can see our application in here. Okay, I can just I guess there is some internet issues. That's why it's not deployed. But the essential is that we have one single file that's enveloped the three phases, and it's easy to switch from a phase to phase and to configure it every phase. For example, here for Kubernetes, we can configure how the number of replica, the probes of liveness and readiness, and we can specify the ports that we want to be deployed to, and everything else. And we can use the CLI or just go to the UI and see what's happening. It's a little bit slow, but the essential is Waypoint is very, very promising project. It's now in version, I guess, 0.8, and it's under a heavy development. Every week you will get some new version, some new stuff, some cool stuff. For example, we have in the version 0.7 the integration with GitHub. So we just introduce something like a GitOps. You just push to your GitHub and everything is running in Waypoint. And as you can see here, I have logs and stuff like this. Even if it's failed or stuff like this, I have logs and I can check my phases, see where is my errors and stuff that doesn't work, and I will fix them and redeploy using Waypoint up. And that's it for my talk. Hope it's pretty clear for you. You can see it's a very powerful tool and very easy to use. Just one configuration file and 2-3 command line stuff. That's it, and thank you for having me.